The intermittent reward trap is when someone gives you warmth just often enough to keep you waiting for the next crumb. Not love, not consistency. A tiny emotional slot machine wearing a charming hat. Here is the diagnosis. A stable person gives care in a recognizable pattern. A manipulative pattern gives care unpredictably, so your brain starts treating basic attention like a jackpot. Case File 1, the slot machine. One day they text like you are the center of the universe. The next day, silence. Then another sweet message drops in and your nervous system pulls the lever again. This is why the pattern can feel romantic from the inside. Your body is not saying, "This is safe." It is saying, "The reward is uncertain," and uncertainty makes the chase louder. The loop has 4 parts: warmth, disappearance, anxiety, and relief. Then the relief gets confused with love because the brain is dramatic and apparently owns a small theater. The cruel trick is that unpredictable rewards can feel more addictive than predictable ones. If kindness always came at the same time, you would relax. If kindness might arrive any second, you keep watching the door. Case File 2, the message board. Maybe they are busy, maybe they are mad, maybe they forgot. Maybe the little committee inside your head has started a full investigation with snacks. Notice the word maybe. Maybe keeps the game alive. A clear no hurts, then ends. A maybe keeps you emotionally subscribed to a channel you never meant to join. Watch the anticipation meter. The biggest spike is often not the reward itself. It is the waiting, the refresh, the checking, the tiny hope with a very expensive hat. Healthy attraction does not require you to solve a weather system every morning. It can still be exciting, but the floor exists. You are not dating a trapdoor with cologne. Unstable warmth creates a special confusion. When they are kind, you feel chosen. When they disappear, you feel defective. Then the next kindness feels like proof that you are okay again. Case File 3, the waiting room. You start planning your day around a possible reply, not an actual plan, a possible reply. Dr. Wiggle calls this donating rent to a ghost. The common script is simple. Intense interest, sudden distance, tiny reassurance, and then distance again. It is not depth. It is a thermostat with emotional crimes. You overinvest because your brain tries to restore the good version. It remembers the charming 5%, then hires the other 95% as unpaid background noise. Ask yourself, am I attached to the relationship as it is, or to the tiny preview trailer that plays before the disappointment movie? Case File 4, the message hook. The reply is not even special. It just arrives after enough silence that your body treats it like water in the desert. Important, this does not mean you are needy for wanting consistency. Consistency is a normal human requirement. The trap trains you to feel ashamed for needing oxygen in a room full of smoke. The trap often turns into self-blame. Maybe I texted too much. Maybe I was too direct. Maybe my comma frightened them. Please release the comma from custody. Use the consistency test. Do their actions stay kind when they are not trying to win you back? Do they respect clarity? Do they show repair without a dramatic parade? Case File 5, applause. A compliment after a long, cold spell can feel enormous, but a standing ovation is not a relationship if the theater locks you outside afterward. A strange thing happens. The reward does not need to be large. It only needs to arrive after discomfort. Relief magnifies small kindness until it looks like a golden piano. Pause here. Think of someone whose smallest kindness felt weirdly powerful because it arrived after confusion, distance, or fear. That timing matters. Late kindness is not automatically bad. People have hard days. The pattern becomes dangerous when lateness becomes the machine and you become the little employee feeding it coins. Case File 6, the reward schedule. Yes on Tuesday, no on Wednesday, maybe on Friday. Your nervous system starts keeping a calendar for someone else's mood. Separate events from patterns. One missed call is an event. 3 weeks of intense closeness followed by unexplained distance is a pattern wearing tap shoes. Body signals. You check your phone too often, rehearse messages, feel relieved by crumbs, and call anxiety chemistry. The body is not stupid. It is trying to survive a casino. Ask the rude little question. Is this chemistry or is this withdrawal relief? Chemistry expands you. Withdrawal relief just makes the shaking stop for a minute. Case File 7, the mirror. You start judging yourself through their latest response. Warm reply, you are lovable. Cold reply, you are broken. That mirror is rented. Return it. The trap becomes deeper when self-worth enters the machine. You stop asking, are they consistent? You start asking, how can I become the version that gets warmth again? What do they gain? Sometimes control, sometimes attention. Sometimes they are just emotionally disorganized and leaving emotional furniture in the hallway. Impact still matters. You do not need to diagnose them. You only need to diagnose the pattern. Does contact make your life steadier, or does it turn your mind into a ticket booth? Case File 8, the crumb trail. They give one tiny sign of hope, then nothing. You walk miles for something that would not qualify as a sandwich. Here is the test. Stop chasing for a short, clear period. Do not punish. Do not perform. Just stop pulling the lever and watch what happens to the pattern. If they repair, clarify, and become more consistent, good. That is information. If they escalate, punish, or vanish harder, that is also information with a little red bow. First boundary, I enjoy hearing from you, but inconsistency does not work for me. I need communication that feels steady, not mysterious in a tiny cape. Second boundary, if plans keep changing without explanation, I am going to make my own plans and assume we are not scheduled. Calm, boring, powerful. Third boundary, I am not available for hot and cold. I am available for honest and clear. Notice no courtroom speech, just the terms of entry. Case File 9, the maybe contract. You never agreed to endless suspense, yet somehow the relationship runs like a subscription service for anxiety. Do not over-explain your need for consistency. Over-explaining turns a basic standard into a debate, and debates are where slippery patterns put on roller skates. Also, do not audit every message for secret meaning. Was that period cold? Was that emoji warm? Dr. Wiggle gently confiscates the microscope. Replace obsession with observation. Not, how do I get the reward? But what pattern am I being asked to live inside? When you step back, expect withdrawal. You may miss the high. You may want to check. You may suddenly think their crumbs were gourmet cuisine. They were not. Make a tiny detox plan. No checking for 30 minutes. Then 2 hours. Then 1 evening. You are teaching your nervous system that maybe is not the boss. Tell one grounded person what pattern you are testing. Not 10 people. one steady person. The trap grows in secrecy like a mushroom with a law degree. At work, intermittent reward can look like praise only when you are about to leave. Suddenly, you are brilliant. Then, once you stay, the praise returns to the witness protection program. In friendship, it can look like disappearing for weeks, then returning with warmth so big you feel rude for remembering the disappearance. In family, it can look like affection that arrives only after obedience. The message is not, "I love you." The message is, "Perform correctly and the sun may come out." In dating, it can look like intense chemistry followed by vanishing. Then the return feels magical, even though the magic trick is mostly emotional absence in a cape. Create a minimum standard, not a fantasy, a floor. Communication, respect, repair, and consistency. If the floor keeps disappearing, stop decorating the room. Rate the floor, not the fireworks. Fireworks are easy, floors are harder. A person can be thrilling and still not be safe to stand on. Try a clear request. "I like connection and I need it to be more predictable." Is that something you actually want to build? Then listen to the answer. Not the poetry, not the promised confetti. The answer is what happens next week when the spotlight is gone. They may improve briefly when you pull away. This is not automatically repair. It may be the machine dispensing one shiny coin to keep the customer. Real repair has 3 boring ingredients: accountability, changed behavior, and time. The boring part is important. Healthy things often arrive without circus music. If someone says, "I am just complicated," remember, a locked filing cabinet full of soup is also complicated. That does not mean you should move in. To leave the loop, reduce the lever pulls. Fewer checks, fewer tests, fewer dramatic essays, more facts, more time, more life outside the machine. Smart people get caught because intelligence is excellent at building explanations. Maybe they are stressed. Maybe they are afraid. Maybe Mercury is in retrograde wearing tap shoes. Explanations can be true and still not make the pattern healthy. Empathy is beautiful until it becomes a machine that edits out your own experience. Their fear matters, their stress matters, and your nervous system is not a hotel lobby for every unfinished emotional suitcase. Case File 10, the distance bench. They sit close enough to keep hope alive, but far enough to make you work. That middle distance is where a lot of emotional rent gets collected. A secure pattern may feel boring at first if your nervous system has been trained on alarms. Boring is not always dead. Sometimes boring is just safe wearing a plain little coat. Before sending the panic text, check the panic meter. Are you communicating a real need, or are you trying to make the slot machine pay out faster by shouting at the handle? Try the 4-hour rule. If you feel the urge to decode, chase, or accuse, wait 4 hours unless there is a real emergency. Most fake emergencies melt when nobody feeds them dramatic soup. Ask, is this repair or is this a coin? Repair changes the pattern. A coin only makes the machine flash long enough for you to stay. The apology coin sounds lovely. "I am sorry, I have been distant, you mean so much to me." Good, now wait. Does the next week become steadier, or did the machine just blink? Protect your schedule from maybe. If they do not confirm, you make other plans. This is not punishment. It is refusing to turn your calendar into a shrine for uncertainty. Park the phone in another room during one normal task. Cook, walk, work, shower. Let your attention remember it has legs and does not need to sleep beside the notification door. Withdrawal will tell you the connection was special. Maybe it was, but withdrawal is not a historian. It is a tiny alarm clock yelling because the old pattern stopped arriving. Sometimes the other person is not plotting. They may be avoidant, overwhelmed, distracted, or genuinely bad at communication. Fine. The question remains, can this pattern become livable? Capacity matters. Someone can care about you and still not have the capacity to show up steadily. That sentence hurts, so the brain often tries to turn it into a puzzle instead. You can hold a standard without blame. I am not saying you are evil. I am saying this pattern does not work for me. See? No courtroom, just a door. If they demand proof that you are hurt, do not become an evidence warehouse. You can give one example, name the pattern, and return to the standard. The real question is not, how do I make them consistent? The real question is, how long do I stay available to a pattern that makes me inconsistent with myself? Micro script, I like you and I do not like this pattern. If we keep talking, I need more clarity than this. Micro script 2. I am going to step back from checking and see whether this connection feels steady in real life, not only in my head. Practice scene, they return with a sweet message. You enjoy it, but you do not immediately cancel your evening, write a novel, or hand them the keys to your nervous system. Progress sign 1, you can receive a message without your whole mood climbing into it. The phone makes a sound. You notice. You do not become a small weather balloon. Progress sign 2. Silence no longer becomes a courtroom. You do not immediately prosecute yourself for being too much, too boring, too direct, or too alive on a Tuesday. Progress sign 3. You can enjoy chemistry without letting chemistry drive the bus. Chemistry is allowed to sit near the window. It is not allowed to steer. Healthy connection still has mystery, but it does not require constant damage control. Your body may feel quieter. Quieter can seem suspicious when chaos used to bring snacks. Do not reward the chaos with unlimited availability. If the pattern is unclear, your availability becomes measured. Not cold, not cruel, measured. The little clipboard approves. Try a 1-week experiment. No chasing. One clear request. One clear boundary. Then look at behavior, not the little fireworks show after you threaten to leave. Summary, the trap has 3 signs. Unpredictable warmth, anxiety during silence, and relief that feels like love when the warmth returns. And 3 defenses. Name the pattern, set a floor, and watch behavior over time. Not intensity, not speeches, time. Question for the comments. What is the smallest reward that ever kept you waiting too long? Keep it vague if you need to. Dr. Wiggle accepts anonymous crumbs. Subscribe for more Dr. Wiggle case files. We take invisible emotional games, put them under the little lamp, and ask why the lamp is sticky. Next lesson, the jealousy bait. When someone drops a little rival into the room and pretends it is just furniture.